Well, the last game that'll be played Saturday night is the Frisco Bowl, and for some reason, they decided to play this one at 9:15 p.m. at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Good venue, nice place to play. I just don't know why they're playing it so late. You have Boise State taking on North Texas, and look, this is two conference runner-ups looking to end the season on a high note. It's a late night in Frisco. I don't know who approved this. I'm going to get hung up on that if I don't, move off it pretty quick. The Mean Green, last time we saw them, they were getting run off the field in the 2-1-0 against UTSA. And look, last time we saw them, it was a little bit rough and apparently enough for a change of leadership. They've moved on from Seth Luttrell. He's no longer the coach there. I think they just ended up hiring their coach today. Obviously, he won't be coaching the bowl game, but they have officially moved on. And on the Boise side, the last time we saw them on the blue turf, they could not get it done against Fresno State. And so instead of getting to go to LA and enjoy SoFi Stadium and nice temperatures and an indoor, facility there, they get to play in a cold soccer stadium. Temperatures not expected to be necessarily pleasant in the DFW area. And so I guess that's your reward for not being able to win your conference. Look, UNT, they've got a really good offense. They score a bunch, but Boise does boast one of the better defenses in the nation. They finished 11th in scoring defense with 18.5 points per game. Trey, we'll start with Boise. How do you think they end up winning this game?
I think they win this game if they can do what they do best on offense, and that's get just enough on the ground and kind of have that be their bread and butter. They rush for almost 187 yards per game and just do just enough in the passing game to keep it efficient, keep the chains moving, and not turn the ball over. Taylor Green has done a fantastic job as a true freshman for them running that show on offense. He came in after a couple, I think his first action was actually the first game of the season when Hank Bachmeier got benched. And he gets thrown into a really hostile situation on the road in Corvallis. And, since then, he had a rough debut, but since then, he's really gotten his feet under him nicely and been a really nice piece of the offense there. I'm really excited to see what he can develop into. They really just need to move the ball on the ground against UNT, though. They're not that good on the ground. They're not as mean and green as it sounds. They give up 188 per game on the ground. So really playing into Boise's hand there. They don't necessarily have, elite QB play yet for Boise, but they definitely have a guy that can move the chains, that's going to be efficient, who's not going to be turning the ball over. So as long as Taylor Green can play how he's played during, Boise's winning times this year, as long as they can continue to get enough push on the ground, I think they're going to be okay. UNT is going to be on their heels, and they're going to have to stifle the UNT on attack on the other side to secure that victory.
Yeah, and I think for, North Texas, it's just kind of the opposite of what you were saying, right? They're the offensive team here, so they have to find a way to score. Do they have an offensive identity without Seth Luttrell? That's kind of my first big question, right? You lose your coach. He's a good offensive mind. He was in that Mike Leach tree that we mentioned on the podcast from this week. And so, losing him is not a small thing, right? Losing him is not a little deal. Will they be able to, with their new leadership, weather this new situation? Is the new leadership going to game prep well? Are they going to be able to do well with the game day play calling? Who's going to take over those roles? Who's going to do a job with that? Against this Boise State defense, it's stingy. And the night's going to be a little bit cold, like we mentioned. Temperature is going to dip lower than average. They're going to be looking to Austin to be a veteran presence, set the tone on that offense. He's had a great year, 3,300 yards, 32 touchdowns. They're going to have to spread it around a little bit in the run game. There's not really a true number one running back there. They've had a couple guys be good and effective, but they're going to have to kind of spread it around a little bit. And I think they're going to have to be in a pass to open up the run situation, right? They're going to have to pass the ball first to be able to run the ball in any sort of effect. If this game becomes one dimensional and you get Austinani on his heels and you let those Boise State defenders get that pass rush going, it's going to be a long night. I don't think you score too many points. On defense, you're not a great defensive team if you're UNT. There's no way around it. You just have to find a way to plug some gaps, right? Fortunately for them, they're not playing maybe a super balanced offense like you were saying. They play a team that they just run the ball. You haven't been very good at that, so stack the box, right? Put 7 or 8 guys in the box and force them to throw the ball on you and succeed. I think that's the way that North Texas wins this one. And I'm going to go ahead and pick them to actually win this one. Maybe a little bit of an upset pick there. I do think North Texas gets enough offense to win this game. I'm going to pick them to win this game, something to the tune of maybe a 30-21 situation. I think they will be able to pass effectively. This is closer to home for them, so it's not necessarily as much of a traveling situation. They can stay closer to their normal schedule. And I think when you have a change in leadership, it focuses the players because they want to go out on a good note. And so I think they'll be able to succeed, be able to pass the ball well, and ultimately end up getting this victory for the North Texas Mean Green.
Man, yeah, that's quite an upset pick. I think vast majority of America's probably going with Boise State in this one. I'm torn, man, because this is certainly a situation where it's kind of I love buying into the who wants to be there more narrative in bowl games, and you got a team that fired their coach and lost their conference championship game. It's a team that could be in LA if they would have just taken care of
Yeah,
business at home
yeah,
on the
yeah.
last week of the season. So it's like, I don't know really who wants to be here more. So in that case, I think I'm going to lean with the better defense, and I think I'm going to lean with Boise State on a cold night in Frisco. I think that defense is going to cause a lot of problems for Austinani. Could be a really fun going away party for Austinani, I believe. I don't think he doesn't have any more eligibility, does he? He
You
has
have
to
to
be,
imagine he's out, right?
right? He's like 30 at this point. He has to be out of
He's almost
eligibility.
retired. I
Yeah.
mean,
So it could be a really fun going away party for him. I think the Boise defense is going to spoil that party, though. Give me Boise State winning this one 31-23.
wow, yeah. Well, we'll see who ends up winning this one in Frisco. If you're up at that time and you want to watch some late night bowl game action, then stay tuned. It's going to be a fun one to watch.
Gracious him. How about